welcome to another episode of Cosmic Conversations. I am your hostess, Marla Martenson. Today I have Pamela Cummins with me. Hey, Pamela!
Hey, Marla! I'm so happy to be here. Yay!
I know, this is so much fun. You guys, I did Pamela's show recently, and now she's here to chit-chat. She specializes in dream interpretation, love, relationships, and personal growth, and she's also a psychic. So I'm always fascinated with psychics and readings and all that energetic stuff. And you also have, your show, tell us about your show and your books.
Okay, the radio show, the Love Channel show?
Yeah.
The Love Channel show is just all about relationships, okay? And relationships can be anything. You know, your relationship to God, your relationship with your animal, your relationship with your spouse. But it's also about self-growth, because you can't have a good relationship unless you know who you are. And
this
unless
is what
you're
I've always
comfortable
been
with
saying.
who you are.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of people, I have guests, and I do things about spiritual principles,
right,
acceptance. It can be so many different things. I'm just giving you everything in a nutshell. I have 4 books. My first one is Psychic Wisdom on Love and Relationship, and that's my baby because I walk the talk. So what I teach is what I've learned and integrated into my life, and I've watched other clients and friends and colleagues grow. Because I just don't help my clients, I try to help everybody.
Right.
So it has anything from boundaries, self-love, which is one of my favorite topics, to trusting your intuition, because we all have intuition, communication skills. So that's kind of that in a nutshell.
Right.
Then Insights for Singles is just, it's kind of like a workbook where I will bring up a topic, like being alone is better than being lonely. And then I'll write a little paragraph and then ask questions for the reader to either reflect on, maybe possibly meditate, write in a journal. My third ebook is Pamela's Love Collection, which is free. It's free because I'm on all the major ebook stores, but it's not free outside of the U.S. on Amazon. It's only, but you can get it outside the ebook at the USA, if I can talk, iBooks, Kobo, Barnes & Noble.
Well, we'll connect your website so people can check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that basically has some of my earlier works, my blog, the 3 F's of Love, and also from Bella Spree, because I write from Bella Spree. And my latest book, yay, which I'm so excited, just came out August 6th of 2016, because I don't know when people are going to listen to this, is on dream interpretation. But it's not about symbolism, because a lot of books are about symbolism. It's about the different styles of dream interpretation. And that's really important, because you can have one symbol can mean so many different things. All right. And I won't go into that because I could go on and on. But basically, it gives the categories. For instance, it could be a spiritual dream, somebody from the other side. And if you don't know what the other side, heaven comes to visit you, okay?
Right.
Or it could be a recurring dream. It could be a precognitive dream, which dreams about the future. So I go into the different sections, so when you do have a symbol, you look at what's going on in your life, and you can relate to it. And it has a lot of dreams from, in the Dreamtime, Bella Spree magazine I write for some clients, and of course my personal dreams.
Yeah.
So it helps you understand your dreams better.
Well, these are such awesome books, and I love the ones you were talking about that have self-love that you can't find, because as a matchmaker, it's like people will come to me and they haven't done any work on themselves, but they want me to just plop, Miss America in their lap. And there's
or Mr. America.
But it's a lot of because the men are my paying clients, and they're the affluent men, and they just want a hot woman, and it's like, well, yeah, but you need to work on this and that. That's why you're still single at 55 and trying to have kids now when you should have been doing that 30 years ago. So it's the self-love, 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 working on ourselves, right? That's
Right.
just the most important thing.
And I want to add, you can find a really hot woman or a hot man who's nothing inside. Because I remember dating for like about a month, a man, gorgeous man, had nothing on the inside, you know? And really who you are on the inside will make you beautiful or handsome on the outside.
I think as humans, we like pretty things, so we've got to dig deeper. Because, and not that somebody who looks gorgeous can't be great on the inside too,
Right.
but when we're just focusing on that, it's kind of more on hormones and just liking a certain thing that the whole society kind of throws at us. You've got to look like this, or that's good, or that, you know, certain brands, certain looks, certain weight, certain everything. So we've got to kind of, I like breaking out of the box.
Yes, I agree. And excuse me. And one of the things that's really so important with a love relationship is they accept you for who you are. Because you can
Yes.
have Ms. America or Mr. America, and if they don't accept you for who you are and try and change you, the relationship's not going to go for.
That's right. It just gets frustrating. So you bring your psychic gifts to this. Have you always been psychic since you were a kid, or tell us a little bit about that?
I have always been psychic, and as a child growing up, it wasn't safe for me to be psychic. Okay,
That's what a lot of
honestly,
people say, that they had to hide it or shut it down until later.
well, even my feelings, the saying, big boys don't cry, little girls don't get angry, which caused an anger problem within me. I had to deal with my anger years later. But it just wasn't safe, okay, not in the environment I grew up. And when I started back in 1989, my life wasn't very happy. And like I said, I teach what I've learned. And I started my personal growth and spiritual path. And that's when it started coming back. And it started coming back in my dreams, which is why dreams are a passion of mine, because that in like 1990, 91, I started to learn with the therapist how to interpret my dreams, because I was having these weird dreams and I knew they just weren't crazy messages. They were actually of the past. So it started coming out of my dreams, and then before you knew it, it came out in everyday life. The hardest thing because we all have intuition. We really all have psychic abilities, but people prefer intuition, is trusting what you get. Do you know what I mean? It could be as simple as, it's going to rain today, bring an umbrella. And then all of a sudden, it's a beautiful sky, and you're like, no, no, no. And all of a sudden the skies open up and it downpours. And if you had listened to yourself and brought an umbrella, so we all have it. But I was kind of pushed, my angels and guides pushed me to start doing this. And the more I do it, the more I get comfortable with it.
And
I
how
really
did you know
love
these
to.
were your angels and guides pushing you to do this?
Yes, it was. And they used other people. I actually had, because I used to do massage therapy a long time ago.
Okay.
I was a healer, hypnosis, and I still love that stuff. And I was massaging a good friend of mine who is also, I'm an interfaith minister, and he's also an interfaith minister. And I'm massaging him, and he turned and looked at me, and he's like, Merlin wants to know, because Merlin's one of my guides, why you didn't take your sister's advice. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm racking my brain, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, my sister said that I should start doing psychic readings. Mm-hmm. And I was like, really? They want me to do that?
So and the person you were working on told you that?
A client of mine, but was also a friend of mine. Yeah, because he was psychic. And he was psychic I'm too. Sorry, I wasn't clear about that. Yeah, so, because birds of a feather flock together, so I have a lot of psychic friends.
That's cool. Now, were you doing Reiki and energetic work too? Had you had attunements?
Yes. When I was doing the massage therapy, I used to actually get messages from my clients.
Well, and that's probably because of, I'm a Reiki master now, and I've had a lot of attunements. I'm going to do some different attunement tonight, Munaki. And I find that it opened my channel more, and I feel energy more. So would you agree that that's really something that can be the turning point for somebody there with
definitely that's actually energy work is a part of clear sentience, which is kind of clear feeling. So you can feel maybe hot spots on somebody. You can even actually go on your own body like this and feel it, or you can feel when somebody's sad, or it's just a feeling that you have. So, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Body work, definitely energy work is all.
I've been able to channel my angel now and give readings. So I do, I was using a talking board, a communication board to spell it out, and now I can go on the keyboard and type it out, and it flows through. It's so interesting.
It's like automatic reading
Yeah,
or
automatic writing.
typing. Excuse me. I used to
Yeah.
do automatic writing. Yes.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I can't do it
like I said, we
longhand.
all have these abilities.
Right. I never imagined I could do this, years ago. So it's so cool.
It's
So
trusting it.
let's give a few tips to the peeps out there about relationships. So men and women communication. How do they communicate differently?
You got an hour. um, okay. Well, men, for one thing, men are fixers. Okay.
Oh,
So
yes, 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 yes.
if I say, I am so frustrated at so and so, they're going to go in and try and fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Where a woman's going to be like, oh, I hear you, somebody else. Yes. How does that make you feel? Man's going to be like, you don't need them as a friend because they're there to protect.
And then that starts a fight. That's what happens with me and my husband. He tries to fix everything. I'm like, I didn't ask you. Don't tell me what to do. And then it's a big fight. It's like, why did I even share that?
Right. And another thing is women are very feeling oriented and we want to express and we want to talk about the relationship and get into all these feelings and stuff. And that makes a lot of men uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Even men who are sensitive, okay? They don't want to necessarily talk about the relationship. They want to do the relationship. They want to be in the relationship.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Women are good. Well, there are good men who, I'm going to say the majority of men, I'll be nice, 50% of men aren't good listeners, okay? And you ever been in a conversation with a couple of men? They cut each other off all the time.
Oh, I'm always cut off by my husband. I can't get half a sentence out. He cuts me off. I'm like, why in the hell am I even talking to you? I can't even say anything.
I'm very fortunate because my mate listens, but that's I was being nice with the 50%. But that's what they do. If you've ever seen, and I don't care what ethnic, I'm thinking Italian because,
my husband's Latin.
Yeah. Okay, so they cut each other off. We're women, we sit and listen, and if a woman pauses, we don't jump right in.
Yeah.
One time, and here's a funny story of what I did. I was dating this man, and I said, will you listen to me? And I started talking, and he blah, 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 blah. Will you listen to me? Blah, 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 blah. And about the fifth time, I was like, will you listen to me? He started blabbing, and I went like this, right over his mouth. Yeah, I actually covered up his mouth, and I said, now please listen to me. Because he wasn't aware that he was doing it. Yes, it was rude, but honestly, by like the fifth or sixth time, I was going to get really angry, so I said, okay. I didn't know what else to do.
But you know what women do that drives me crazy is you'll be telling a story, and then the woman will jump in and grab onto one little detail about that and ask, and then it takes you off to something else. You never got to finish your story. They're jumping in, grabbing little pieces and going off on other. We multi-track. We don't get our whole.
Yes. And men will be like, get to the point. I'll be like, yeah, my friend, she's told me, oh, but by the way, her husband, blah, 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 blah. And,
we go on and on and on.
But, my dad's a professor. And it's funny because, like, I get, like, visions. And I got a vision of him when I was, like, a little kid. And he was standing up. And he would be talking. And then he would go into another subject and then get off. So men do it, too. But I think women are worse.
Women do it more. I had a friend who, if I'd come to her house, it was like an hour away. And she, how was traffic? I just say fine every time, because if I said, then you should have taken this, and then she'll go for 10 minutes on which route you should take next time, and this, you ask what time it is, she'll tell you how to build the clock. I mean, it's just like, yeah. It's
No, I'm laughing.
But that's where men get that idea that most women talk too much, right? Because we use more words, we want to describe, we're into the details and all of that, so...
Well, if you say to a man, what do you think of the landscape? He's going to focus, wow, I really like that tree. Where the women are going to look all around and say, look at the birds flying, and look at that cornfield out there, or whatever. That's just right. What women are. The other way that men communicate is through actions. acts of service,
Yes.
or gift giving, or spending time with you. Some men, one of the things that I've heard all the time, especially when I was working the psychic lines, which I no longer do, is,
Wow.
when is he going to open up to me? Okay?
Okay, yes.
All right. And my answer to that is, when he feels safe with you. So if he starts opening up, and if a man starts opening up, and a woman criticizes him,
Right.
he's going to shut down
Right.
completely. Okay. So you need to accept what he says, even if it makes you really mad.
Right. Accepting people for who they are too, letting them be themselves.
Right. Even if you can agree to disagree. You can agree not to like that point. I don't talk politics with my honey. Mm-mm. We don't talk politics. We start talking. Let's because my politics aren't as important as my relationship.
Right. And it's interesting because me and my husband have the same views on politics, but I can't talk about my woo-woo spiritual stuff with him because he gets mad. He doesn't believe it. He's very angry about it. I don't talk about it anymore with him, but we can talk about the politics.
And you know what? And he does listen to some of it, and some of it he just rolls his eyes. But sometimes he'll be like, there was this one yoga studio I wanted to go to, and something always happened, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And it was on a Sunday. I'm going to go. And then I pulled out my hip. Okay. And he's like, you are not supposed to go there. And that's because he's been around me too long.
Right.
Yeah. But the other thing.
So how long have you been married? How many years?
Oh, we're not married yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
We've been together for almost 5 years.
Okay, right.
So
and I've been with my husband for 15. So to get to the long run, the long haul, that realizing that people have these different communication styles is so important. I think that's where things break up.
Right. And the other thing too, I want to go back to how to get somebody to open up to you.
Yeah.
Is they need to be safe and comfortable with you. So if you start to accept them for who they are and not change them, because they're not going to change. And I always say to people, you want them to change. Well, how would you feel if they asked you to change? Okay?
Exactly.
Without changing them, give them praise when they do something. You did a wonderful job cutting the lawn. Thank you for making dinner. Thank you for doing this. And the more comfortable and safe, and the more you validate them for who they are and love them, okay, then they start to feel safe and open up.
Exactly. Yeah, the men do like that validation. That when my husband fixes things around the house or does the lawn, he always loves it to be thanked because they're showing how much they care.
Yeah, exactly. That's they're not. There's very few men, and and I want to say, if you just met someone and he says, "I love you," be careful. Okay?
Be careful. Yes, yeah. When they're doing that right away, you're like, "Hey, how many women are you telling that to?" Right?
Yeah. But men when they're in a relationship, not all, but a lot have trouble saying "I love you." They might, give you a card.
Yeah.
They might show it. They might say it every once in a while. Women can say, "Oh, I love you." It's easy for us, but for men, it's not as.
So when you were doing the psychic lines, I'll bet that was like the 99% of your calls was about relationships, right?
Plus, I specialize in love and relationships, and I have to say I'm glad I'm not on there anymore, okay, because how we're talking about the self-love and growth and looking into your spirituality and basically cleaning your side of the street. Well, a lot of the women who, I call them minimum wage for psychics because they don't pay much, some of those big lines, who I will not say who they are, but you can get an idea. But it was, when is he going to call?
Yeah.
Does he like me? Are we going to get back together? He's married to somebody else, but will he divorce her to get with me? All kinds of questions. And, bless their heart. I mean, you love somebody, you want to know these things. But all the time, my guides would say, you need to focus on you. Focus on you. And then there's those callers who will call in and they psychic hop until they hear what they want to hear. And
But I think this all goes back to intuition. We know the answer ourselves.
Thank you.
If they're
Thank you.
not calling, it's because they're not interested. I mean, bottom line, because I'll get that too. The feedback with matchmaking, why didn't call again. I thought he was interested, or she didn't. She's not returning my call. But can you check why? If somebody really is interested in you, they are going to find a way to communicate back to you, right?
Right. It's very rare. I know this one male friend of mine who told me, and he's married to somebody else now, but he told me that he actually was interested in this woman, but he actually lost her number. This was before cell phones. Okay. So he actually lost. So occasionally it happens. Or, maybe somebody came back, like their ex came back into their life, or something's going on and they just don't have time for a relationship.
And this happens a lot. People are dating multiple people with internet dating, with Tinder, with all this stuff. It's very rare. Somebody's just, it's like they've got a date this weekend, that weekend, and they just maybe focused on the other person or whatever.
Right.
They had more chemistry with somebody else. And they're not going to tell.
And another thing that I would get, is he or her cheating on me? Okay? Now, the majority of the time when somebody asks that question, if you have doubts,
If you have
but there are times, but there are times when somebody has been cheated on the past and they have a hard time trusting somebody.
Right.
But that's I'm going to say that's 25% of the time. The majority of the time, and if it's not physical cheating, it's cheating in another way. Okay, it might be cheating you of your time or whatever, but something's off. All right. So instead of, because I remember telling this one guy, yes, she's thinking about it, but you have time before I could even, he was so upset about who this could possibly be, and I'm like, wait, it might not happen if and he wouldn't listen to me.
Right.
So she probably, honestly, in that case, she probably did, which is sad. You're calling for advice. You're calling, my guides are all set. Boom, 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 boom. This is what can save this marriage. But
yeah. And I mean, like you mentioned, the psychic hopping. Every psychic's going to give you a different answer too, and because people are whatever. Some psychics might not be good. Some are good. Some are getting different information. The vibration of that person, what's going on. And so psychics are fun. I like getting readings myself, but we've got to ultimately listen to our own.
Right. Okay. Psychics are really good for validation and to help clear a path. The future is never written in stone.
Yeah.
And people want to know, what's my future? Well, what do you want to make it to be?
Right.
Okay. Yes, there's certain things. I mean, I remember this one client called me twice, and both times my guide said, you need to stop smoking. Now, this is on the phone. So she's not in front of me smoking, okay? Right. Because I guess, if she didn't, she could get cancer. So they were warning her.
Right.
But a lot of times when people will call and they want to know what's going to happen and they get different opinions from psychics, they're getting different possibilities.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
What I'm really good for is like therapeutic kind of stuff, and personalities of what this somebody in your life is like, or if you go down path A or path B, if you do this, Yes. I mean, sometimes I even get stuff like, you need to clean up your diet. I had a woman call into my radio show this week, and all I saw was like cakes and cookies and ice cream, and she laughed because she had just bought ice cream and she was going to eat it after the radio show, and her angels wanted her to stop eating so much junk food.
Yes.
So,
that's so many people. And I remember a client coming in for a healing, and I'm on the healing team at the Imagine Center here in San Fernando Valley, and this one person came in, and I looked at her and I said, are you eating a lot of dairy? And she says, I just had so much cheese today. So I'm like, yeah, you need to cut down on the dairy. That it's too much. And so a lot of the people need to clean up their diets, and we get that, we get the hit on that, and then tell them. Right. So whether they do it or not could be whether they have a heart attack or whatever. So
right, or the gain weight or whatever. It depends on what they choose to do with it. But yes, and a lot of times I'll get in fact, I just got the song lyric, listen to your heart. A lot of times it's listen to your heart, and a lot of times they won't. I had this one woman who called up asking about two guys, right? And I gave her what it was. And one guy just felt like was kind of a playboy, was a Romeo, whatever you want to call him. The other one was really nice. Well, I'm not interested in the nice one. I want to hear about him. I was like, are you
Women
kidding
always
me?
like the bad boys, right? A lot of times.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Okay, And I didn't get the best review from her because I didn't tell her what she wanted to hear.
And how long did you do the work with the psychic hotline?
Oh, God, I worked many different ones. I would say probably about 4 years or so.
That is so interesting. That is so interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I got off the minimum wage ones, and then I went to more like best psychic directory, and when Voices of the Angels was really there, and occasionally I'll do it for the virtual psychic fair.
Yeah.
But I really don't like to do it too much. What I discovered, and because I'll have clients, they want something immediately,
Yes.
and if you're really upset about something. Okay, I understand there's emergencies, but if you're really upset about something, what happens is you're not going to hear the information very clearly because you want to hear what you want to hear, okay? Or the person's vibration is so upset, it's really, and out there, it's hard to get a good read on them. So if the person takes a day or so and calms down, quite honestly, they might not need me. They might get their own answer. But that's okay. I trust that God provides. Or they come back and then they get a better read.
And how did you start specializing in love and relationships? Where did that come in?
Oh, I'm a Libra.
Okay.
And the Libras are all about love and relationships. You give me, when we used to read newspapers, the paper ones instead of online, I'm always into it, like Dear Aunt Abby. And I'm just always
You're great with
fascinated.
advice. You're great with advice for people.
Well, and also, quite honestly, because I was interested because I had a lot of problems with love relationships. And that's why I can understand when he's going to call and all that. Yeah. I know where these ladies and men are coming from. But it's just, there's just some things that you really vibe with. And relationships have always been there for me.
When I was in my 30s and I had been divorced and I was single again and I was dating a lot, and I remember I would always wonder, why didn't he call? He said he'd call. We had such a great time, and I'd ask my friends, but there was a voice inside me in the back of my head that said, Marla, if he was interested, if he wants to talk to you, he'll call you. But I still couldn't accept it. It's like, I don't understand. And as we get older with maturity, you kind of, okay, well, he just wasn't interested, even though we had, kissed for half an hour and had this crazy chemistry and had a great time and we're laughing. And you're like, why wouldn't he want to see me again? We had such a great time. There was such chemistry. Some reason, maybe that he thought I was a nutcase or something, I was like drama queen. Who knows? Maybe he was seeing somebody else, but whatever it is, he wasn't for me. And I had to accept that. But it was so hard to accept at that age,
Well, I remember one time I got fed up with like somebody, I'll give you a call, and he didn't. And I kind of knew this guy, not well, but I kind of knew him. And I said, you know what, that's it. I had it. So I called him up and left a message. I was glad I got his machine. I'm like, hi, you said you were going to call, so I'm just hoping that everything's okay and a tragedy didn't occur. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Right, good, yeah.
And it took, must have been thrown off by that, because he took about 5 days to get back to me. And when I answered the phone, it was funny because I was with a business associate. We used to share office space when I did massage therapy. And the look on my face she knew it was him, And he was nice enough to say, I really like you, but I don't want a relationship.
Yes.
I see us more as friends. He just wanted to play around.
Right.
And I needed something more than that.
Yeah. Well, Pamela, thank you so much for stopping by and chit-chatting psychic lines and love and communication. It's been so much fun. And you guys check out the information box below with all of her links and info and books. And have a great day. See you soon.
Thank you for having me on, Marla.